Well, when you go back, you know that billion-dollar figure that you sometimes hear from Tufts for pharmaceuticals? Well, it turns out to be about $228 million in direct clinical costs to get the products approved, which makes sense. I mean, even if you're paying $15,000 a patient for $1 billion, how many patients are you doing? I mean, you start to get onto the ridiculous end. The actual direct cost from Tufts, when you reformat it and you inflate it at the right numbers, but that's for products that were sort of in the mid-90s, the early mid-90s. We estimate it's about $85 million right now. And if we do the risk adjustment, remember, not all of the products get approved, but not all of them get killed before they get submitted. Some get killed in phase 1, some get killed in phase 2, some don't get through phase 3. When you risk adjust it, it's about $160 million in 2009 is what it costs to take a drug through development. Eric. Well, and I'll give you a little more information here, and not that I'm trying to keep it from you. Here actually are some of the costs, the averages, the average numbers that I've pulled out of here. And there's not a lot of companies that will give you their direct cost. You know, they have to be a public company, because private companies will never tell you what they do. It has to be a public company, they have to publish. I pull it out of the SEC documents, I clean it up. And sometimes the numbers are not easy to interpret. So they report there were 2 inhalation products. I will tell you they're the Septicor products, right? Brovana and their other one. One was a topical for systemic delivery, which means it was not something that was local for local, like a skincare product. One was an oral sustained release, and one was a drug device intradermal. So if you look at that, you take a look at the phase 1 plus phase 2 costs on the mean, meaning the average, was about 26. The phase 3 costs were about 63. The total development costs were about $90 million, all inflated to $2009. I sort of normalized it. The median costs, you see that those phase 1 and phase 2 on the median were a little lower, but they seem to pay a little bit more on the phase 3 when you look at the medians. But you're looking at $85 to $90 million to get these kinds of things. There you go. But look, there's also phase 4 costs, right? That's where you like to have a partner dealing with it. And I'll tell you, one product that did very quick in getting to the market was Testin, the auxilium product. They basically got to the product in about 24, 30 months. From the time they started clinic to the time they were approved, that was a topical testosterone in gel formulation for the treatment of male hormone replacement therapy. And they got there for about $22 million in 2009. They did one study. However, they ended up with a phase 4 program that was larger. They ended up spending another $20 million on the phase 4 program, presumably to meet the requirements and also to get some marketing studies in place that they'd be able to sell the product with some benefits. You know, it's one thing to get a product with approved, but no real label claims that you can leverage in the marketplace. But they have done it. So if someone was to say to me, I think we can get this done for $20 million or $30 million, I'd say, you know what? I think you can. I think the averages are this. The averages are meant to be broken. But you need to know that you need to be smart and you need to be just a little bit